Hey everybody, Brian the writer here. So I have a little bit of an apology to make. I want to start off by, before I get to my apology, I want to send a shout out to the wonderful ladies of Dark and Stormy podcast. I'm going to include a link because they're the ones that kind of prompted this. The reason I'm apologizing is because I had previously listed the number 6 through 10 of the things that I felt that writers needed to lead a happy writing life. And their first question to me before the interview even got started was, we really love your videos, but what happened to 1 through 5? Fair question, so I apologize for not getting that out a little bit sooner. So I am going to now give you, in reverse order, 1 through 5. But I also want to point out, too, that these are not in any specific order. So, whatever applies to you, what doesn't apply to you, whatever order it goes in, it's fine. But, so the first 4, or the first 6 through 10 actually dealt more with kind of the internals, the things that are really inside of yourself that you need to deal with. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the externals, the things that you can control that are actually outside of yourself. So number 5 of my list is get involved. So I would love nothing more than to live in a world where I write books and I shove them through a slot and magically they just poof appear on bookshelves and people buy them and love them. It doesn't really work that way. There's a lot of other things that go on. I don't care whether you're brand new, just starting out, or a best-selling author. There's a lot of other work that's involved, and it seems like a mountain. But when you realize that you can go out and find people on Facebook groups and whatnot, and people can help you. People can give you advice and tips and tricks, things they know that works, things that doesn't work. And it really does lighten the load. So highly believe that getting involved is really important, whether or not you go to shows where you talk about writing, your writing, or you do critique groups, or you participate on like closed Facebook groups where they talk about the art and craft and business of writing. These are all really important things for you to do. So number 5 is get involved. So number 4, and this is going to vary for everyone greatly. You actually are seeing my writing space. It's not optimum. It's not really what I want to have happen, but because my children somehow demand bedrooms for themselves to sleep in, I'm kind of relegated to a corner of my living room right now, which is fine. It works for the most part. It's not a permanent solution to the problem, but you have to find a place that's going to work for you. And there are some requirements, some things I think that are absolute must. Number 1, it has to be secluded. Some people work well with distractions. I really don't. I need to be free of distraction. I subscribe to the theory that if you're going to bother me while I'm working, you really should have considered beforehand whether it was worth your life or not. Because if the answer to that question is no, it's definitely worth my life, sure, go ahead and bother me. Because I really don't like it when people bother me while I'm working. The next thing is it has to be comfortable. So those of you who've known me for some time know I have some arthritis issues. So my hands consistently hurt. So there's a couple things I do about that. For one, I have an ergonomic keyboard. I have this wonderful Microsoft keyboard. It has a really cool, it's not an endorsement for Microsoft by any means, but it has this wonderful keyboard, a really nice pad. It works very well. I find that it cuts way down on the amount of pain I have in my hands. I also use dictation software, and this is like a headset I use for my software. It works very, very well. So I use that quite a bit. And also another thing too is you'll see these glasses, and you've probably seen them on other videos. Well, these are actually special glasses. These are blue blocking glasses. What they do is they prevent the blue light from the spectrum actually coming through and hitting your eyes, because they believe that's what makes you tired. And I can tell you from using these things quite a bit when I read or when I'm going to be on the computer for a long period of time. These are great. They make all the difference. My eyes aren't tired when I'm done. Also, what's really cool about these is they make them in prescription strength. So if you need readers, like I do, these are definitely the way to go. It makes a big difference. I also have because of the arthritis, I have a special mouse. It's kind of shaped kind of funny, but it keeps my hand from doing this, and it puts it in more of this kind of angle. So it's less strain on my fingers and less strain on my wrist. Another thing I highly recommend is a decent chair. You can spend, really you can spend anywhere from $99 to thousands of dollars on a really good chair. Some people are perfectly content riding on a steel-backed folding chair. I'm not. I need a decent chair for me to sit in. Actually, this one's getting a little worn out, so maybe that'll be on my wish list for the next year. Is I'll find a decent chair to blow my money on, and I don't know, maybe surprise myself someday. So yes, a chair is very, very important. It also helps with back problems and neck problems and that kind of thing. So posture, ergonomics is really important to keep in mind. Every morning, and he's sitting right here, so I can't say the actual word, I take my dog for a WALK every morning. This is important to me. For me, it gets things moving. It gets my joints moving. It really does loosen things up. But the fresh air makes a difference. So this is really important. We as writers tend to be introverted, and I am not an exception. I often say if I have to leave Sterling, Virginia, I don't do it. I just don't leave Sterling. I go to shows. That's my outside of the Sterling metro area. In Germany, it's actually not uncommon for doctors to prescribe. They prescribe fresh air as an antidote to any kind of ill will. And if you've got a cold, if you've got a whatever, they'll tell you fresh air, going out for a little bit of exercise does make a difference. There is some wisdom to that. So definitely get away from your keyboard, go for a walk. Very, very helpful. Number two, the second thing I would recommend in this list is I say eat, drink, and be productive. Now, it kind of goes without saying, but you have to eat on occasion. And I would love nothing more than to sit here, write, and eat Cheetos and drink Pepsi, but it's not really going to work. You got to eat something healthy sooner or later. Remember to balance out that diet. You'll feel better for it. You'll have less stomach problems. It'll be a lot easier on you if you remember to eat something decent once in a while. Very, very important. Especially when I am fully involved in longer periods of writing, that's when I'll particularly suffer because I won't want to stop. So again, make it a priority, institute it. Also remember that while Cheetos are tasty, carrot sticks are just, are pretty tasty too. So, try a little variety there in your snacks while you're working. So the number one thing I would say, but remember this really isn't in a particular order, but this seems pretty darn important to me. Get out and meet other human beings. As previously discussed, we are all introverts, and because we're introverts, we tend to want to stay home. We don't want to go outside. We don't want to do things. But get out, go to the mall, watch people, go to the park, watch people move around. Some of my best ideas actually come from watching other people. I wrote a short story a while back, and the kernel of that idea came from watching three girls cross the street. I was at a stoplight, and there was a crosswalk, and the girls were walking across the street on their way to a pool. and it gave me the idea for a story. So those are you've got to get out and you've got to see people. There's no other way. You need to feed that creative engine that is your mind, and give it something to work with. So get outside, see some other people. As a writer, your lineage stretches back to the earliest caveman who wrote something on the walls of the cave. You and I, all, as writers, we share the same DNA with Will Shakespeare back in the day, and I'm sure he would agree with me that you do have to get out and watch people once in a while. Get outside and associate with people once in a while. So that's the other 5 in the list. The ladies are dark and stormy. I hope I did you proud. But let's recap. What did I say you need for a happy writing life? So number 10 was forgive yourself for the little mistakes and missteps along the way. You're going to make them. Number 9 is get a routine and stick with it as best you can. Things always do come up, but try to stick to your routine as much as you possibly can. Number 8 was do what feels right. If that project that you're working on doesn't speak to you at this moment in time, maybe you're not supposed to be working on it right now. So switch gears, work on something else for a while. Number 7 was know your weaknesses and work on them. My weakness, as I stated in the earlier video, is not that great at grammar. So I am constantly looking for resources to improve my grammar. Does it work? Well, we'll ask my editor that. Number 6 was don't fear or fall in love with high tech. Sometimes the old ways are the best. Remember, I have my dictionary, I have my thesaurus, I have my Chicago Manual Style, I even have a business writer's guide up here, a bunch of different reference material that I use when I write, and these are very important to me. They're paper, they're tactile, they slow me down. Looking things up on the internet is just not the same. When I use my paper dictionary, I find things. I found other words I didn't even know existed. That's why I do it, though. Okay, so number 5 was, of course, get involved in the writing community. Get out there. I don't care if you have 5 minutes worth of experience or 30 years worth of experience. You need to be out there talking with other writers. It'll feed you. It'll help you do a better job with your writing in general, and you may help a few people on the way, and that's what it's really all about. That's what being part of the writer community is about, helping others. Find a comfortable writing place. If not comfortable, at least tolerable for the time being, as is my situation, but well. Get out of the house. Get some fresh air. Go for a walk. It'll be, oh, I said the W word. The dog's napping, thank God. But get out, get some fresh air. It's really important, and you'll thank me for it later on. Eat, drink, and be healthy. Balance that diet. Make sure you're not just scarfing down hot dogs and Doritos or whatever your jam is. You have to eat right. Or your body's not going to function correctly. If your body's not functioning correctly, you're going to feel bad. If you feel bad, you're not going to write well. It all is connected. And number 1, don't forget to connect with other human beings from time to time. You're going to be richer for it. You're also going to get some ideas for other stories. I also wanted to mention too, when you're out there in the world, let's say you go to the mall, let's say you go to the park, go to the coffee shop, whatever, bring a notebook with you. It's always good to write little things down. I actually have my notebook here. I actually bought this leather-bound thing in Italy. I believe I bought this in Florence, Italy, and it's wonderful. It's just a big notebook, but it's great for writing things down, writing notes. Right now, I'm writing notes on some short films I'm watching for a review I'm going to do. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoy it. Remember, if you have questions that you would like me to answer online or however you want me to answer them, go ahead and send them to me. I'll add them to my list, and if I get a bunch, I will go ahead and I'll do a little video. Feel free to leave my comments in the section, or leave comments in the section below, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And also, if you're just watching the video, please subscribe. I don't do a ton of videos, but I come out with them every month, maybe twice a month, and I like to think they're interesting. They're kind of fun. If they're not interesting, it's because you haven't given me good material to work with. So send those suggestions.